You walk out of here with all the knowledge you need. Take your time. All the knowledge you need to think about color just a little bit differently and its applications. So. I am sure you all have heard of the color wheel. I'm sure as a kid you grew up learning maybe a little bit about it, or you saw it, or it was at least in the classroom somewhere. It was there, it was around. And you especially remember your Crayola colors. And I imagine you particularly remember red, blue, and yellow being your main colors. We'll be starting off with this color wheel. I will inform you ahead of time, there are other color models that are actually a lot better for painting and real life applications, but the way we learn it as kids is the red, yellow, a blue model. I knew of it. We weren't on a first name basis though. That's fine. That's fine. There were a lot of Crayola crayons out there, so you know, that's okay. We can't know them all. But it usually does start with blue, red, and yellow as the primary. What is a primary color? What's a primary color? What's a secondary color? What's a tertiary color? This is the very foundations of the color wheel. Yes, of the color wheel, but also of color theory. So let's go. Next slide. What are primary colors? Primary colors are, as it says what it says on the tin. It's the primary colors. It's where all the other colors stem from. It's the basis of the rest of the color wheel. You technically aren't able to combine any colors to create them, but they can be combined to create most of all the rest of the colors. These are the combinable colors. This is technically not true, but just pretend. It's also not the best. These are not the best primary colors. Just go along with it. I will give you, you'll be in the know momentarily. That goes into secondary colors. What are secondary colors? Secondary colors are, as it says on the tin, secondary colors are colors that are made by combining any two of the primary colors. So we know these pretty well. If you were to get a 6-color crayon set, it would probably consist of these primary colors and these secondary colors. You have green, which is made by blue and yellow. We know that. Orange, red and yellow, and purple by blue and red. Easy peasy. See, I told you. Color theory, very easy so far. Tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are all the colors in between, all the other rest of the colors on the color wheel. And they are made by combining both a primary color and a secondary color. So, you know how we had orange, purple, and green? You can make it more yellow, you can make it more red, you can make purples more red, you can make purples more blue. Yada yada. You got orange, yellow, orange, red, red, purple, yellow, green, and blue, green. I had this the other way. Yellow, orange, and red, orange. My bad. But you get the gist. So those are primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. But all of those colors have their own quality. I know there's a lot of words, sorry. All those colors have qualities. Every single color that you look at, every single color that you see has these exact color qualities. And I'll read it in just a moment, but you can go ahead and read it ahead of me while I eat the last piece of my bread. We got some sourdough from the farmer's market and it was very delicious. Very delicious. I apologize to my editor for having to cut this out, my editor being me for this VOD. I never edited the World of Warcraft VODs and I still need to continue that series, but it is what it is. You do as we can do. Wow. Almost on. It's very chewy. You ever get a piece of bread that's like it's like starting to go stale, and you know it because it takes 3,000 years. It's like the sourdough bread. If you get like the baguettes or sourdough bread from the store, it takes you 3,000 years to chew it. And you get like a jaw workout from doing it. That's this piece of bread. That's just a piece of bread right now. Yeah. Mini mukbang time. Almost done. Okay. There we go. Done with my bread. Okay, alright. So each color has these 3 qualities. Every single one of them. And the 3 specific color qualities are hue, saturation, and value. Hue is the color, essentially the color's identity. It's the actual color that you pick. So if you take the gradation of all colors on the visible light spectrum and you put your hand on one, that's going to be its hue. That's the hue that you decided. So say you choose a color that's like dark red. That dark red is still, though it's dark is red, the hue itself would be defined as red. Same with green, blah, blah, blah. Same with blue. Blue, red, yellow, those are all hues. Saturation refers to the intensity of that color. So a more intense color will be very, in your face, obviously more intense. The more, I guess, the more pure the hue, the more saturated it is, essentially. When you add, well, not when you add, because that's tone. The less intense a color is, less saturation it has, the more gray the color is, it loses that purity of that hue. So it's at its most intense when it's like the pure hue of the color comes through, and it's least intense when it doesn't. So saturation, more saturated at the full extent of the hue, less saturated when it's more gray, it becomes more gray. Value, last one, is the lightness or darkness of the color. So when in painting, you'll notice sometimes that, like, maybe say you get a set of acrylic paints, they have the primary colors and maybe a couple other colors, but they also have black and white, possibly, depending on what paint sense you buy. But black and white are used to make the color lighter and darker. So the value is the lightness or darkness of the color, the absence or presence of black or white in the color. When you add black to a color, you are shading it, and that is what creates the darkness. When you're creating a lighter color, like when adding white to a pigment, you are tinting it. So it's shades and tints. Glad to see your editors being fed. I am. I'm making sure to eat sometimes when I need to on time. But anyway. So when you make a color darker, you're shading it. When you make a color lighter, you're tinting it, and you're adjusting its value by doing so. When you add gray to a color, actually, it's called tone. Little tidbit for you. All right, but those are the three qualities, and you'll probably, if you use Photoshop, if you use like any digital, painting software, you'll probably seen this. This is called the HSB color model. It stands for hue, saturation, and brightness, essentially meaning the same thing. So here you could see it puts it in an easier way to display. So you have the saturation that goes horizontally. You could see no saturation. You completely lack the hue of the color. Well, first off, let's start with hue. You can see on the gamut, we're landing right there. The hue is red. If I put the color right here, it'd be yellow. The hue would be yellow. But across is the saturation, no color coming through or no hue coming through, least intense. It's over here. At this corner, it is pure white because this is the corner where brightness and desaturation meet. There's this thing called chroma, because the opposite end would be like chroma red, but I'm not going to dive into chroma. We're going to just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. But you see that it lacks the color. And then brightness obviously is pure white, then pure black. And as you go across the way, you can make these infinite combinations of the two. So if we wanted like a middle, highly, very bright and somewhat saturated red, it'd give you kind of like a coral pink right here. If you wanted a very saturated like brown, you bring it kind of all the way into the dark, the lower, like you're adding a lot of black to that red, but it's still saturated. It's still at its full hue potential. If we go all the way up in the corner, like I said, this is pure red. That red wavelength is beaming right into your eyes. That's pure red, and that's also called a chroma. But like I said, we can do that later. There's different types of models and way they're laid out. Obviously, you've seen like different ways to kind of maybe select your colors in color pickers, color editors. But a lot of the time you'll see hue, saturation, and brightness, or hue, saturation, and lightness, depending on what you're using. This is the most common thing, and that's what it stands for: hue, saturation, brightness, and lightness. Hello, CJ. Hello. Brightness and lightness kind of being they're pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. And it changes a lot of things. Man, I'm already flying through this. I knew this was going to be quick. I worried, but also knew it was going to be quick. Saturation and value can really, really make a big difference. Here we have pretty much the same saturation of these colors, different lightness, obviously, but when you add it further, when you add more darkness to it, you can see that they are different values. And a good trick, my favorite trick that my Art 101 professor taught me in uni is this Art School Let's Go. This is Art School. Welcome in. Hello, Roku. How's your day going, Barry? It's going good. I'm chilling. We're doing some art. We're doing some color theory. We're learning color theory today. You'll notice if you squint your eyes almost all the way to shut, you will actually see the difference in value between the left and the right blue. You'll see the left blue is lighter than the right blue, and that's how you notice the difference in the value. That's like an easy way to do it. You squint till you can almost not see. That's how you. So sometimes especially when I was doing traditional painting, check my value because I couldn't just like always just check it on the screen. Flavor of the day is coconut pineapple or pineapple coconut. Is this gonna be on the exam? Yes. There's no exam. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Take this knowledge and do with it what you will. But yeah, you can see the difference in value, especially when you squint your eyes. So a little trick when you're doing physical media, squint your eyes and check the value of things. Obviously, when you squint your eyes, it makes it harder for the rays of light to get in. You lose a lot of color. That's why when you're in the dark, you don't really see color because there's not enough color to bounce around to go into your eyeballs to see it. But you can see the value of things pretty good. You can see the value of things pretty good. So squint your eyes if you want to check out the value. Here's another. This is an example of different hue and different saturation level. You can also do black and white to see value as well. Yes, when you're on any program that you can switch, you can always check your values by switching to a black and white mode. Some modes work differently. Sometimes the value doesn't always come through quite properly unless you do it a specific way. I don't remember the way to do in Photoshop, but there's a way to do in Photoshop. There's also a way to do in Clip Studio. But it's good to check your values because values can help create contrast, not just saturation, but value. Value is important. Here, these have the same value, but you can still create contrast because these are very starkly different hues. Very, very different. So they're important. Okay. I just ate a chime in. You fill a layer with black and set it to color layer. It helps. Hello, Crow. How you doing? It's been so long since I've used Photoshop that I'm a Clip user. And they have a good mode for it in Clip that I like. But how you doing, Crow? Welcome into art class. Bunch of you new here, everybody. Go check out Crow. A fantastic artist. If you haven't followed him already, please go do so. I hope you're doing good. Sorry it's been a minute again. Okay. So let's talk about the other color models. Remember how I said, we'll go back. We'll go all the way back. Remember these primary colors? Forget them. Forget them. Don't forget them. They'll still be around in some way, shape, or form. But forget them as the primary colors. Let's switch up what we're going to use as the primary colors. These are different color models used for different things. The first one, you'll know and love because we use it in screens, and I'll explain how in a moment. And then the second one, you might know and you might not know, but it's used in printing. If you're an artist, you've definitely heard of CMY, CMYK. RGB color model. The primary colors are red, green, blue, and they are an additive model. It is a way to add light, and very specifically light. You are adding color together. Snowy Winter Autumn, Snowy Winterly Autumn, welcome in, hello. Auntie, thanks, and you're cool, no worries. CMYK is a curse. No, it's not, don't worry. It's not. It is a little bit of a curse. But that's why we have spot colors, but we'll get into it, I know RGB, but I did not know CMY. Now I know. Now you know. CMY is very important. But before I get it, additive is RGB. So when you take these colors, you add them together to get different colors or to get pure white, which is pure white light. The reason that works is because we use it in light mixing, not so much physical pigment mixing. I needed to go eat dinner. Go ahead and go eat dinner. Go eat dinner. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you? Get some food in you. I just ate a piece of bread right on stream. Also, thank you for 1860 follows. I appreciate it. Enjoy your lurk and enjoy your dinner. We also have it on our TV as well. Yes, it is in pretty much every screen in modern day that you look at is using the RGB light model, because that's the best way to get vibrant colors and, you know, just colors in general. And it's very interesting how it works. But anyway, CMYK is a subtractive color model. So when you put these colors together, you are essentially subtracting instead of adding them. You're taking these colors, you're adding them to subtract, if that makes any sense. But it should make sense in a moment. But the primary colors of these is cyan, magenta, and yellow. And K stands for ketone, which means black. It's essentially it's a printing term, but imagine it as black, because you need to use black on white paper. You don't have to add white to the print when there's already white papers, but we'll get into it, don't worry. But notice, before we go on, they work in tandem. The secondary colors of the additive model, RGB model, is in fact, you'll notice, CMY, cyan, magenta, yellow, and then the opposite, you'll notice that the secondary colors of CMY is RGB. Wow. The Bane of Any artist making prints. It's hard. Primaries for one is the secondaries of the other, like I said. And you can get a nice wide gamut of colors via those models. When it comes to physical painting, I will stress this. When it comes to physical painting, because on digital painting, you don't have to worry about this so much. You can use spot colors. You can essentially pick any color that you want when you're painting digitally. It doesn't matter as much. But when it comes to physical painting, like say you're painting with oils, with acrylics, with gouache is my favorite to paint with, is what I learned on. It is actually a lot better to use cyan, magenta, and yellow, and black and white. The reason is you can get a wider, more vibrant range of colors. And it may seem like it's not the case. The only colors that there are colors that are lacking in CMY, but you definitely get a wider range than you would with red, blue, and yellow. You'll never get a nice vibrant green via red, blue, yellow. You'll never get a nice pink or hot pink or magenta. You'll never get a super, super good, like, I mean, you can get violet, but you're not gonna be able to get it too bright. Cyan is just kind of like, it's got a little bit more, honestly, it's got a little bit more, green in it, essentially. The colors, yeah, overall the colors tend out to come out a lot muddier with just red, blue, and yellow. Even if you add white and black into red, blue, and yellow as your primaries, you're not going to be able to extend it out and reach as many colors as you would with cyan, magenta, yellow. Cyan, magenta, and yellow, you can actually mix red and blue. You can actually mix to get the primaries here. Obviously yellow is the shared primary of both, but you can mix red via cyan, magenta, and you can mix blue via cyan and magenta. Well, red, sorry. You can mix red via magenta and yellow, and you can mix blue via cyan and magenta. The colors that you are lacking in CMYK is actually vibrant oranges and vibrant purples. So in printing, it becomes a little bit more difficult, but there are ways that people get around it. But how they're used. Like I said, RGB is a light additive model. It's made for mixing light. It's used in monitors and computers and screens across everywhere. Anytime you use a screen, it's using RGB. OLED also works a little. OLED, I forget how it works. It might work a little bit differently, but generally, pretty much all screens use RGB lights and combine them. And what's happening is the light is going through liquid crystal, and it's beaming the waves of light directly into your eyes, because light is just waves. It's just little waves. The visible light spectrum is what waves we can see. And so with these lights, these are actually emitting, and that's why it's additive, is because like those beams are coming directly at your face. They're coming into your brain, through your eyeballs into your brain, right and direct. That's why it works and why it's additive, is because we're adding those colors together to get all the other colors that we want to see via the light. CMYK, why did I say it like this? CMYK is used for printing because printing is on physical media, and anything, if you look around your room right now and you pick up anything that has color, the reason you're seeing the color that you're seeing is because the light that is being beamed into it from the sun, or from your, sorry, the music's changed suddenly, from your light fixture or whatever light, wherever the light is coming from for you. The light that's coming out from that is going into that object, and a bunch of light waves are being absorbed into it, but a few are being bounced back, are being reflected back into, and that's how you're seeing the color you're seeing. You're seeing the combination of the waves that are bouncing back, that are reflecting from that object into your eyeballs. So it's not emitting light unless it's a light source. It's not emitting light into your eyes. It's bouncing light back into your eyes, and that's how you're seeing that color. And so that's why CMYK is a subtractive model, because when we're working on white paper, we're essentially needing to take color away from that white paper to get the color that we want to see. It doesn't. I don't have an unlurk command, but I do have a lurk redeem. But you could just say hi. That's fine. Then I know you're back. But that's why it's used for printing, obviously, because when you're printing on something physical, it's usually white paper, and so you need to subtract that white to get to the color, which is kind of a weird way to think about it, but that's essentially how it works. And then we come with the struggle of using CMYK for printing and stuff. You will miss some nicer, vibrant purples and oranges. And so in some printing, it's probably, there's like different modern day printing stuff that can use like hexachrome. I forget how exactly it works, but you can essentially use 6 primary colors, and it's inclusive of purple, orange, and green as like kind of spot colors. Spot colors is when like you add colors in directly onto the print as that color, rather than doing the combination of primary and secondary colors, like combining magenta, cyan, and yellow to get the color to come through. You just put that color there, which kind of is a counterintuitive, also very probably expensive, and that's why we still do CMYK printing. But anyway, that's what CMYK is, and that's what RGB is, and that's how they are used. And they work very well as primary painting colors. So I learned to paint via CMYK. So when I was painting with gouache, I would paint with cyan, magenta, yellow, and black and white. And I could pretty much mix damn near any color I wanted to. It was fantastic. And you could also, I also wish I had this skill nowadays. I don't have it anymore because I don't have paints in front of me. I don't have physical paint. I paint digitally. But I could look at a color and I could think about what of the CMYK and white I would need to add to create the color that I was looking at. If you handed me an object and said, color, pick this color, mix it, I could mix it. I can't do that anymore. I wish I could. It was a really cool skill. It felt very cool being able to do that. But anyway, so what do we do with all this info? We can now start organizing colors in ways that are visually pleasing. So this is where it becomes more subjective. I mean, the stuff that I was telling you before is also very subjective, like I said. There's no hard and fast truths other than the fact that we see colors as the colors are rays, and we can only see so much on the visible light spectrum. That's hard and fact truth, but the rest of it is kind of subjective to help us organize colors in a way. So that's what color theory is all about, is just being able to organize colors in a way that's nice. That looks nice. How you doing, Mint? I hope you're doing good. Hey guys, I don't have an auto shout out for you up. I don't know why it's not working. Ring. Go follow Mint. Right now. Go follow my cute and wonderful friend who plays a lot of Deadlock. Flashing through all those slides just woke up my art class trauma. Welcome back. Welcome back. A lot of people play fast and loose with colors. Many artists tend to break these rules. Yeah, that's what they're for. They're just guidelines. It's a way to help you organize. Everything's very subjective. But it's helpful to keep in mind because it can help, make things that look nice. I have some very flashbang slides coming up, so keep your eyes ready. But that's what we do with it. We essentially take color theory and we're like, okay, now we have a color wheel. We can organize colors into certain ways and groups that make things feel good. For example, we'll start with the textbook color organization. warm and cool. And there's even debate on where to divide warm and cool colors because, again, color can be kind of subjective. Warm, is the warm side of the color wheel tends more yellow and red. I forgot to put red. More red. Some people say more red. I argue a little bit more yellow, but again, contention, it's all subjective. Cools are more blue. I think that I'm firmly in the team of cool colors tend more blue. But the thing is, even with warm and cool colors, you can have cool warm colors and you can have warm cool colors. For example, I consider this a warm purple. That's a warm purple. Even though purple could be considered a cool color, you can still have a warm cool color. You can also have cool green. So, oh well, maybe this is more cool green, but this is also a little bit cool green to me. There's a lot of yellow in it, but there's a lot less red in it, and it nearing towards blue. I would argue it's a bit of a cooler green, but again, to everybody and their own. Dragon Man, thank you for the follow. Thank you, welcome in. I think I missed somebody. I missed a follow. Zach, thank you for checking in. Welcome in. Okay. Continuing on, more textbook color schemes. These are the things that they taught me in art school. These are the things you probably learned in art school. The way to divide up the color wheel. I know what you mean. It makes sense. I'm glad. I hope it makes sense. But these are the ones you'll see most commonly. Complementary colors. What's a complementary color? What are complementary colors? Colors that are complementary are colors that are just precisely directly across from each other on the color wheel. So red and green are complementary colors. Yellow and purple are complementary colors. Orange and blue are complementary colors. If we're gonna go in general, it's a way to set up a very, very contrasting color scheme. It's always gonna have very high contrast and high intensity because those colors are opposing colors. They will either clash or they will bring out something that you want to bring forward a bit more. It'll make something pop. Split complementary is just that. You took a complementary color scheme and then on one side of the complements you split them apart by one, essentially. As you see, there's one little space here. Obviously, different color wheels aren't gonna have these precise dividers. Sometimes it's just the blend. So take it as close as you can. General shape is this really weird skinny triangle. You have one warm color here and then two opposing complements to it. Hi, Altair. Hi, I see. It's okay. Hi. And then we have analogous colors. This is my favorite color scheme. Analogous colors are always cohesive because they're next to each other on the color wheel. They tend to look pretty good together because they're already kind of close. In my opinion, most of the time. It doesn't often create a lot of contrast, but it does create cohesion. So any colors that are next to each other on the color wheel will be an analogous color scheme. Then there's the triadic color scheme, which is pretty much, it's like the split complementary, but evenly divided. And then you have three of them. So any triadic color scheme is going to be the colors evenly split 3 across from the color wheel. So you spin this around and any one of them, just put a big even triangle on the color wheel and then boom, you have a triadic color scheme. Tetradic color scheme is a little bit more like the split complementary, but with another one. So there's 4. It's skinnier. You have two analogous colors and then another 2 analogous colors that are complementary to those analogous colors. That's kind of how I look at it. And the square, again, like the triangle, but you have 4. You have 4 different complementary colors going on. 2 of them a little bit further apart than the other, but they're essentially across from each other for the most part. They're not always going to be complementary, but it's just another way. You put a bunch of shapes on the color wheel and then you can get a color theme. Is essentially the textbook way to do it. And then lastly, there's monochromatic. I clearly love a specific kind of monochromatic color scheme. If you look at my background, if you look at me, I really enjoy this specific monochromatic and analogous color scheme very, very much. Monochromatic is simply just the light or the tinting or shading of one particular color on the color wheel, and there's plenty of examples of that. I didn't grab any monochromatic examples, but I did grab a couple examples. Thank you, Mint. Thank you, Sev, and thank you, Bubba. I used a couple pieces that'll be, I think, in the next slide. There we go. Next slide. Bam. Speaking of, this is from Sev. Oh, I should have grabbed the artist from you. I grabbed the artist from Mints because Mint gave it to me. I'll have to grab. Well, this go check out Sev's. Go check out Sev's stream. You can go to her links, and she has this as a print, and I'm sure she has the artist reference. So go check it out. I also don't have the one for Bubba's, unfortunately. But if you guys want those, just DM me, and I will get it to you guys. Severidis. But Mints I have right here as I scroll through to get it. Go check out this artist Vigen. I really love this one. It's so pretty. But these are examples. Spindrift. Oh, these are examples of different kind of color scheming. This I would consider an analogous color scheme. Besides the white, and then besides the melanin and her skin that gives a little bit more pinky orange to the piece, you have a lot of blues and you have a lot of greens. They're all very close and next to each other. And then you have a little warmth with the yellows too. So this is a very nice harmonious piece with the analogous colors. Sorry, I forgot to post that. With Mints, you have an overall color scheme of blue and purples, almost analogous, but it's broken up with a beautiful complementary color. Look at that. This is probably maybe tetradic a little bit with it too, because you got the blue and the purple next to each other, and then you got the bright orange and yellow with just these beams. You can accent things with complementary. You don't have to make a whole piece complementary unless you want to do something like this. There's a lot of complementary colors going on. Oh, go back, yucky, flashbang. A lot of complementary colors going on in this piece because Bubba's color scheme is actually complementary because she has the red and blue, red and blue. I'm not colorblind, I promise. Red and green of the strawberry, and I went to, I did more pink. But we have like a desaturated grass here to kind of make sure we stand out, but it's still a complementary color scheme. So use them as you will. But be careful, be warned. As we were just flashbanged, I'm gonna flashbang you again. You can't combine them in terrible ways. You have the power to do so. You can make things yucky. So be careful. This is full maximum hue and saturated red with hue saturated green. See how it creates this really terrible vibration in your brain when you look at it. It makes your eyes like kind of like wiggle and it hurts really bad. But you can tone it down. That's why we use value. That's why value is important. That's why saturation is important. I desaturated the red and I also darkened the green a little bit. Desaturated and darkened the green a little bit. Oh, sorry. No, I desaturated, darkened the red and desaturated the green just a little bit to calm it down because holy fuck. You don't want it to vibrate. You don't want it to vibrate. Then we're also going to talk about something that comes into play quite a lot. And like I was saying, color is subjective. And colors are also relative. They work differently when relative to each other. And we kind of saw that in these pieces. When they're next to each other, colors can look vastly different. And we'll go into it just a bit. When, say, this magenta is put up next to this red, it pops a little bit differently. It's more purpley. When it's here, it's a little bit cooler. When it's here, it's very bright, very, very bright and intense. And so color relativity is important because obviously you want your colors to interact well, or you want to, maybe like you said, you don't have to like follow, there's no like hard and fast rule of how you want it to work, but colors essentially just being aware that colors interact differently when put next to other colors is very important. You can create color relativity via hue shifts. Hue shifts occur by using a light background with a dark background, or changing the hue to make something look dark. This is the same color purple on a lighter pink and a slightly desaturated pink, I'd say, but it's also a different hue, obviously, and a very saturated blue. And here it makes this same purple look very dark. Here it looks a little bit brighter. Same goes across value, saturation, all that jazz. They all look different when paired with different colors. This yellow seems very kind of pretty bright, but you can't see it. So it's a little bit dark. Here it's very bright. Here this pink gives more of a orangey kind of color, but it's also because the orange is right here and it's bleeding into my eye. Anyway, color relativity is a weird topic. I highly recommend looking it up and like doing a deep dive, but things will interact differently, and you can shift colors to make them work to your advantage and give the idea of another color while you're doing it. So I grabbed some examples. Hello, Frostbitten Zombie. Thank you for the first time chat. Here's some examples. This is by Takoyumi on Twitter. This is actually a freehand painting that they did. And if you look up really close, you can see some what seems like very vibrant purple flowers. Is my mouse in the right spot? It is. But it's actually quite dark and gray. And the grass, you may imagine, is green. It's a very pale green yellow. And same here with the dress. The dress is actually probably like a cream color dress, but in the light and the shadow, it's a very mild green, I would say. Very kind of army green. You can do this with desaturation. This is mostly with desaturation. Everything in this piece is mostly desaturated, so anything that has more color is going to pop a bit more. But you can also do it with very heavily saturated paintings and colors, and just kind of trick the eye. Obviously the tree trunks, you'd imagine, if you think of a tree trunk, your brain imagines brown, but you can make it blue and it still looks like a tree trunk. That's bright ass blue. Same over here. It's not bright ass blue, but it's like it's a blue. That's blue. And it looks like a tree trunk. And then these flowers look very, very, very vibrant in contrast. They look like they would be a hot pink, but they're actually a very desaturated purple. So color relativity, anything that you're putting next to each other is going to make the color feel weird and different. And it's just the way that the light is refracting into your eyes. And it creates all this shifts in your brain. Your brain actually puzzles a lot of things together at all times. So feel free to play. Use colors how you wanna. You can change the colors to anything and it can still look like the thing. This is by Carrot and Lemon on Twitter. I think their title is like Pickles or something, but obviously we know the Minecraft dog is like gray and has a red collar, but you can make it blue and purple and pink and it still looks like the thing. So use colors how you wanna. Yeah. And that's, guys, that's color theory. That's color theory. It's really, really easy and straightforward and also very subjective. So just use it as you want. Boom. Color theory. It's done. That's what it is. So yeah. Now you know. Now you know. Don't use just red, blue, yellow as your primary colors. That's my biggest takeaway. If you're gonna print physical media, don't use red, blue, yellow. But yeah, there's not really much to it. That brain has no more knowledge. Oh, the joy. I'm glad. Don't. Just don't. If you're gonna print, don't. It is a very painful artist thing, especially anybody who works in the digital medium, to have to switch your colors from RGB to CMYK color mode and see the colors that you wanted to appear quickly disappear, and you're like, oh wow. Oh well, they're gone. You're such an awesome teacher. I love it. I'm glad. I was wondering how short this was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be pretty short because, like, guys, color theory is very straightforward. Color theory is easy, and you can essentially do whatever you want with it. As long as it looks like the thing is the biggest thing that my art teachers. I don't know if they wanted that to be my biggest takeaway from art school, but it was. As long as it looks like the thing, it's the thing. But yeah.